Hello and welcome. If you are late, if you are constantly late, or even just that you are always rushing and just get there at the moment of the deadline or the moment of when you're supposed to be somewhere, this video is for you. We're going to talk about why that is and how to fix it. I'm going to start this video off with a scenario of your day and how it can totally turn upside down if you don't plan right. So, imagine it's a Saturday. You have a dentist appointment at 4 o'clock. Pretty simple to imagine. You also have a package that you want to get to the post office, which closes at 4 o'clock. So you're going to do that before you go to the dentist's office. Now, right now, it is 11 a.m. Saturday. You have a lot of time. Your plan is to leave at 3:30 p.m. Plenty of time, you think. You estimate 5 to 10 minutes in the post office. It should be quick. All you have to do is drop off a package. So 3:40 to 3:50-ish at the latest. And then from there you go to your dentist's office, which is about 5-10 minutes away. All right, so this is in your mind the plan that is going to happen. Okay, remember that. Now, this is you leaving. You leave a little later than you want, so you actually leave at 3:35. And of course you have, your planned 10 minutes to get to the post office. Okay, but you completely did not remember that there is a road closure that adds 5 minutes to your route from home to the post office. Okay, you're a little bit behind, but it's okay, right? You get to the post office, and they have the longest line. This is rare, but it happens. You stand in that line at the post office from 3:50 to 4:05. You put in your package, it's 4:05, you leave 4:05 to get to the dentist's office, and you arrive at 4:15 p.m. It's not the biggest sin, but you did not feel comfortable when you were making that trip. When you were in the post office, you had a feeling that your stomach was just tense, and you were thinking, no, I am going to be late. This is not good. Okay, anybody in the audience ever felt this feeling? Anybody? Anybody? Most likely, yeah. Yeah, this is a fairly common thing. Maybe you already have that all together, because some people do. I know those people. They're not just on time, they are early because they planned for things to go wrong. I took a lot of my information from the book that I just read. This book, as you'll read on here, The New Science of Having Less and How It Defines Our Lives. The scarcity they talk about is of multiple things. They talk about poor money scarcity. They talk about loneliness and having lack of people scarcity. And they talk about time scarcity. So if you're always late or almost always late, just on time, keep watching. Of course, first I have to tell you to please check out my other content. I have a lot of cool stuff out there. Also subscribe. It would mean a lot to me because I only have so many subscribers. So if you subscribe, I will notice. And then I'll get happy. Okay, so it'd be nice if you did that. Thanks. Wouldn't it be great to imagine this scenario where the person who went to the post office and the dentist office, wouldn't it be magical if the line was long, but they weren't anxious in that line? Sure, it's annoying to have to wait, but to have to wait and be anxious about being late for your next thing, it just makes things uncomfortable. This happens when you don't put enough slack in your day. Yeah, when I refer to slack, I mean that extraness that's going to save us in the future. It's a little bit of extra time that you may or may not use, but the fact that it's there is vital. I'm going to talk about the 3 factors in this video that are key in helping you restructure your day. So first, you are going to notice in this scenario, there was an abundance of something. At one point, there was an abundance. There was an abundance of time. So that's the first factor, abundance. And then the second factor that we're looking at here is that suddenly that time happened to go away. That time happened to just seem to disappear. And the third factor, which relates to these two, is the fact that this person underestimated the probability that something bad or unforeseen would occur. What in this scenario were the unforeseen things that happened? Well, first, the road closure. So on the way to the post office, there was a road closure, and this person, it took him longer to get to the post office. And two, the line was extremely long. This person anticipated that the line would be, well, less than 5 minutes long. And the fact that this person underestimated the amount of unforeseen things that could come up happens all the time around us, because we think about the present moment and value the present moment more than the future. And that's just kind of instinctual. We can't blame ourselves. So all those things we don't anticipate happening, there are possibilities of them happening all the time. You could get an injury. You could have, I don't know, maybe COVID-19 hits and you have to dip into your savings, except you didn't think you'd need that savings because, well, of course there's not going to be a pandemic. Duh. Or insurance, or planning for your retirement. So what's the solution for not being so late? The fact that slack there is vital, because you are going to lean on that slack if something goes wrong. But it's a little bit more than that. It's about a fundamental restructuring about how we organize our time. What do I mean by this? Well, there's a very good example that the authors of this book do describe, and I'm going to read it from the book because I think it is very useful to hear it. In one study, undergraduates were paid to proofread 3 essays and were given a long deadline. They had 3 weeks to complete the task. Their pay depended on how many errors they found and on finishing on time. They had to turn in all the essays by the 3rd week. In a nice twist, the researchers created a second group with more scarcity, tighter deadlines. They had to turn in 1 proofread essay every week for the same 3 weeks. The result? The group with tighter deadlines was more productive. They were late less often, they found more typos, and they earned more money. This is an example where these students could have used the abundance that they had to better plan. But it was actually the people with more deadlines that did better. How interesting is that? And with time, when you have a lot, it can actually do more bad than good, like in this study. It is best to think of the day in compartmentalized pieces. So you could do it as like morning, afternoon, and evening. You could do it between 10 and 12 and 12 to 9 p.m. However you want to compartmentalize the day that's easiest for you. And then within that compartment that you create, try to give slack, like more time than you think you'd need. If you can relate to this scenario where you feel anxious and you just feel really worked up about being late to an appointment or something, tell me in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and may your day be as meaningful as you make it to be.